you have any drugs?
You're not gonna put those things out, are you?
Huh?
Those. Don't do that.
Oh, 100%.
Don't do that.
This is also Farrier lunch.
It's very candy. Ever tried to chew on them?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I did. They're nasty. Especially the ones that were like coated on the outside and tasted like candy.
Never had those.
I used to eat Tums sometimes just because they tasted good. I was like 6 years old. Look like a hippie. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Sleep deprived.
What?
Doing stuff, man.
Did you get coffee?
Eddie,
Diego,
did you study the tendons?
I looked over them. And I worked on some of my bone notes last time.
Okay, I'll rephrase it. Maddie, did you study the tendons? A, yes. B, no.
I looked at them.
It's not an option.
No.
A or B.
The deep flexor tendon
Everything has to be
the
multiple
digital
choice with you.
goes all the way to the semilunar crest, which is like in the middle, like behind and then the superficial is at the distal P1 and the proximal P2. It's like right between like the end.
What is the name of that joint?
Interphalangeal.
Which one?
Yeah, I can't recall.
There's just two. What are the two?
The two joints?
The two interphalangeal joints. There's only 3 phalanges, so which means that you only have 2 joints, right?
Right.
If you have 3 bones stacked up on top of each other, you only have 2 joints.
Well, there's what the proximal and the distal.
And the distal. Which one is the one where the superficial goes?
The
What bones are there? What bones
it's
are involved?
P1 and P2.
Okay, so it's proximal or distal?
Proximal because
Okay. That is it. Which one's the distal? What's the other name for the distal interphalangeal joint? Somebody's walking home.
You?
I could.
Okay.
Taking the kids with me though.
They say keys?
Yeah.
Oh.
What happened? Who punched you?
Huh?
The dash. Who punched you?
No, my teeth are just falling out.
Oh my gosh. Is it rotten?
No. They don't hurt. I'm just paranoid.
I have so many questions. How can your teeth be falling out but they don't hurt?
Well, like, I think...
You got baby teeth?
No. I was looking at pictures of me when I was like 16 the other day, and my gums have always been like this high.
You're obsessed with your gums. You are. You were less obsessed with your gums when you had braces on.
Yeah. Well, he was like,
Now
that's,
that your teeth are all good, you try to find something wrong,
I think they're gonna fall out.
like a horse owner.
Yeah.
Why
Oh, speaking of
why
horse
would
owners,
why would your teeth
hey,
fall out?
that's a good segue. Speaking of horse owners,
Why would your teeth fall out? Answer me that, and then I'll answer your question.
well, because like they said that my gums were like receding because the braces were like hurting them, so they were like running away. And then they said that after the braces they'd come back down, but they never came back down. So I was like, oh my gosh, periodontal disease.
Why, you want your gums to cover your teeth?
No,
I think
They just-
I think you're fine. Maddie, I'm still waiting. About the industry itself.
So wait, what about the industry prompted you to text me that was a good truck topic? Truck talk topic.
Because I was thinking about expectations.
Of farriers or of clients?
Well, the expectations the farriers have to fulfill, right? Expectations that the clients have, and most of the times we don't even know what those expectations are. So it's very hard to meet somebody's expectations if these people are not very clear about what they expect, or if the expectations change all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So it makes it very hard to control the variable if you don't know what the variable is. You know, because somebody hops in and those people just flip flop their opinions all the time, and you just get stuck in the middle. Maddie, what is it? What's the other name for the distal interphalangeal joint? Oh my gosh, it has been. No. Okay, what's the name of the fetlock joint? I really suck as a teacher, you know that?
You do?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
The coffin joint, Maddie. Right? What bones make up the coffin joint?
The P2 and P3.
And?
The sesamoids. Like the
Huh?
navicular.
Okay, what's the name of the navicular bone?
The distal sesamoid.
Yes. No, sesamoid is just one.
Oh, sesamoid.
There's two. Of course, has fractured navicular bone, no?
Okay.
That stuff needs to be like instantaneous. Yeah?
Yeah.
They teach that at Pony Club. Did you know that? You know what Steve used to tell me? A 12-year-old Pony Club girl knows this. That's what he used to tell me. He only told me once. It's true though. You go to a Pony Club meeting, those little girls, you'll know all that stuff. What's the name for the fetlock joint? What bones make up the fetlock joint?
The coffin bone.
No.
P2, P3.
No. The fetlock. The ankle.
Well, you have the cannon bone,
Yes.
and then it's P1.
Yeah, and?
The distal, or the proximal sesamoids.
Okay, so what's the name of the fetlock joint? No, the bone on top and the bone on bottom. Put them together. What's the bone on top?
The metacarpal phalangeal joint.
Yes. If it's a front leg, if it's a hind leg.
It's metatarsal.
That's right. Yes or no? April, Maddie. It's coming.
I'll be ready.
Huh?
I will be
Now, on a serious note, I'm not making fun of you. Why is it so hard for people to memorize that? Like, I'm truly asking, so we can try to teach differently. Because for me personally, I don't see what the big deal is to memorize. Like, you visualize the picture in your head, and then you can see the bones. Like, it makes sense. Like, actually, the the NAV nomenclature makes more sense to me than the colloquial one, like pastern or right, like a proximal interphalangeal joint makes more sense to me than pastern joint. Right, because okay, it's a joint between two phalanges. There's two of them. One is up top, is a proximal.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm truly asking. I don't understand why. I guess I can't relate why people have such a hard time remembering those things. What do you struggle with? I'm asking. I'm not judging. I'm truly asking. Use your words.
I don't know. Like
I
certain
guess
things,
that doesn't help us, does it?
Well, certain
No.
things are just easier for me to memorize than others.
Like what?
Well, I'm a visual learner, so like.
Well, look at a picture.
I understand that. Like.
I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit skeptical about this whole thing about learning styles that people talk about a lot. I think certain things are just one way to learn it. Like, you can be a visual learner, but if you need to learn how to solve equations, you got to do it. Mm-hmm. So it makes you some kind of sort of like a kinesthetic learner, right? If you're gonna learn language, unless you have what they call synesthesia, if you're gonna learn language, you gotta listen to it. I mean, you're not gonna learn to speak a language just by looking at the words. I mean, you can learn how to read that way, but you're not gonna be fluent. You know, I think the student has to adjust to how the subject should be learned, and then some subjects can be learned in a combination of all these different techniques, right? But anatomy, for instance, how do you learn anatomy?
You gotta look at it, and
All right, this word, this sentence is not allowed anymore. I don't know. Right? Like, you gotta construct your thoughts. Don't stop in the middle of it. Here's how you learn anatomy. It's a memorization thing. Would you agree?
Yes.
How do you memorize things?
Like labeling it, going back over it.
How many times?
As many times as it takes.
Well, repetition. You have to do it all the time.
Yes.
So if you don't go back and revisit, you won't remember it. You know? So you have to revisit. You have to go over it all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. And eventually you don't have to go over it. Look at there you go.
Yeah.
And eventually you don't have to go over it as much. But you still gotta go over it. You know? Because how are you gonna learn physiology and biomechanics if you don't know the anatomy? And you just memorize it. And you just become a farrier that doesn't think. You just regurgitate what other people say. And I don't think that's what you want to be. You're way better than that. So you gotta lay the foundation so you can build on top of it. Right? The foundation, those things. We haven't even gone up yet. Like the rest of the horse. I mean, we touch up a little bit in class, but like, people cannot remember the distal limb. You know, it's just there's no point. It's another thing too when people talk about shoeing the whole horse. I don't really believe that much. I believe the more proximal the problem is, the less effect the horseshoe has. You know, and to me, it's just like an excuse to justify a lot of times like a new fitted shoe or you know just an excuse to get you out of a bind. You know, like if you truly understand what happens. All right, you talk about trot. 2-bit diagonal gate. Agree?
Great.
What are you doing? Try and get a sponsorship from them. I don't understand why they call it Celsius if they sell in America. It should be Fahrenheit.
Okay, proceed.
She got a sponsorship for this.
Farrier lunch. Okay, continue. Sorry, side thought.
All right, so you talk about trot. 2-bit diagonal gate, yeah?
Yeah.
That's all people talk about. Like they don't talk about how the barrel of the horse moves, what tempo of trot we're talking about. Like is this horse trotting with loose rein? Is horse trotting collected?
Right. I mean, it makes a difference on how the muscles are being used.
It does make a difference. But it doesn't make much. I don't think it makes much difference. I don't think the shoe makes that much difference unless you put an extremely heavy shoe on that horse.
Right.
By extremely heavy, I don't mean, okay, the difference between a 1/4 inch stock and 3/8 stock.
Right.
You know, so in order for you to understand that, then you have to understand, okay, what muscles are involved when the horse is trotting? Like, where are the neck muscles? What's the back muscle? What happens to the horse's glutes? The quadriceps? Like, well, you need to know all of that. You know? And I know the anatomy is not the most interesting subject, but you have to study just a little bit at a time. You know, if you sit down and just read it for like 15-20 minutes every day, you'll be fine. Now that stuff should be instantaneous. What if you're at a place and then somebody pulls up a radiograph? People talk about like learning how to read radiographs. There's not much to it. There's not much, like any kind of imaging diagnostics. There's not much to it if you know the anatomy.
Right.
I can get an MRI and then you can look at it and you can see like the structures if you know what the structures are. Otherwise, it's just some crazy abstract picture there on the screen. But if you understand the anatomy, you can see it. And you understand the anatomy, you can detect the abnormalities that you find in this structure. Right? If you know the shape, of the navicular, you know what the navicular bone is. You know what the shape's supposed to be like. You understand the cortical bone, cancellous bone. Then you can look at a radiograph of the navicular bone, and you can tell if the bone is sclerotic or not. right? You can tell. You can look at the vascular channels. You can look at if there is a fracture, if there is uh, some form of exostosis, some under the bone spurs, like because you know the anatomy and you don't know what their profile should look like, And then the more you study, the more you will realize that a lot of the shooting protocols is just a lot of times it's a placebo effect, right? Because how can you measure it, right? I mean, now you have programs like you can have lameness locators, you can have like the hoof bits that we used in the research, that kind of stuff that gives you an idea. But more often than not, everything is based on somebody's observation, right? And then they can skew your opinion. They can. So you need to be able to know this. So one, you do what's right for the horse, and two, you can protect yourself. Because because these people will try to throw you under the bus, but if they know that you know your stuff, they only try it once,
Yeah.
right? And then you gain their respect, right? So if a veterinarian comes and gives you a shooting protocol that you don't agree, you can explain why you don't agree, then you can give an alternative solution, then they back off. Versus, oh, I'm gonna put the shoe here just so we can easy the break over. I don't even know what that means. Can't measure it anyways. Right? So you need to have this theoretical knowledge. It's not just building shoes. That's important, right? Don't get me wrong. It's a skill trade. Like you gotta know how to pull clips, how to build shoes, how to fit, you gotta know how to forge.
Right.
That's a given. But you also gotta know why you're forging. Yeah? You're practicing clips now. For the certification test, there's a very specific description of what a clip should look like. Yep.
Yes.
There's no horse. So you're gonna tell me that the clip that you put it on a double on horse is gonna be the same size as the clip that you put it on a size 3 horse?
No.
No. So the reason why the test is like that is because it's just a prescription. It's just like a skill test. Like can you perform this task? Then you should be able to adapt to whatever situation you're dealing with, right?
Right.
There's a very specific description of what a rocker toe should look like. You're not gonna rocker every single horse. If you rocker toes, you're not gonna rocker every single shoe. There's that like certification standard. But you're able to read the horse and adapt, right? For that situation. And that's what I think it lacks is that type of understanding. Is the getting the knowledge, actually getting that information and building knowledge on top of it. So you just don't become a monkey with a hammer. That's a miserable way to shoe horses. oh, it is like this because so and so said so. No, why? I don't even expect you to believe me. You should question me too. Because if I cannot explain where I'm coming from, then my point has no validity. Make sense?
Makes sense.
And that's the difference. And that's when you truly start learning how to shoe horses. And then it's going to be a forever endeavor. You're just going to be chasing that all the time. Because every foot is going to be slightly different, and then you're going to learn something every foot you shoot. But you got to know the anatomy. You cannot understand how things work if you don't know what things you're looking at. You don't believe me? Wait until you get thrown on the bus for the first time.
I do believe you. Just listening.
And that's why Farriers got such a bad reputation sometimes, because you have people that, I mean, can recite a whole book back to you, but they don't know how to pull a clip. And you have Farriers that are outstanding forgers, but don't know the anatomy. And I think you should be in the middle. I mean, I think you should strive to be really good at both, and some people are really good at both. But right, Lizzie?
Mm-hmm.
Right.